Good day everyone, my name is Agbel Odisheson from GIS. We will be continuing from where we stopped on part 1. On this part 2, we'll be discussing on how to update the altitude of the extracted KML file from Google. What we're now going to do now is that I will be launching my browser. Then this is my browser and I'm using Google Chrome. Then the next thing is that there's a website called GPS Visualizer. You might wish to search it, GPS Visualizer. It's loading as you can see now. The reason why I just click on the URL and it brought out the GPS Visualizer because I have already bookmarked the website. That's the reason why it is easier for me to locate. But in a situation whereby you are recently practicing this, I'll advise you to just press GPS Visualizer as you are seeing on the URL of this Google Chrome. Then under that, then we will now go to, if you check under these solutions 1 DM database, you will see upload a file. Under the upload a file, you click on choose file. Once you click on choose file, it will now bring an a dialog whereby you will be able to search for the data that will be generated from Google Earth, that the KML file. However, previously, when we are extracting the KML file from Google Earth, we name it A and B. Then what we're going to do now, we are just going to import this A and B KML file into the GPS Visualizer respectively. Now what I'm going to do now is we will select on the first one, which is A, and press open. Once you do that, then automatically it will now name what you have imported aside the choose file. Then under the convert and add elevation, the output format, if you click down on the output format, you can see the plain text or the GPF file. I will not be using the plain text. I will prefer it to be as a GPS file. A GPS file is a file that supports GPS in a literal meaning. Then I will click on the you might also go and change the unit here as metric or US. Then under it, we will now click on convert and add elevation. Once I click on convert and add elevation, is loading, it will load out to now bring out the next web page. Under the next web page, you will see GPS Visualizer output. You will now see your data has been converted to GPS. If something doesn't look like you expected it to, please send an image to right click the following link to download. Then I'm going to right click so that I will download. Then it has finished download. If you check here now, then I will click on the icon of click to go back so that I will be able to load in the second KML file, which is B. When I now click on B, I will now press open. Once I press open, automatically the name will change. Then I will now also click on convert and add elevation, just the way I did it for the previous one. Then it will now show another web page of the second KML file that we wanted to update the elevation. As you can see, we will do the same thing that we did for the previous one also by clicking on the download. Once you click on the download, as you can see here, it has finished downloading it. Then the next thing we're going to do now we are done with the GPS Visualizer. The purpose of this GPS Visualizer, it is used to update the altitude of a given coordinates of any place. For example, now if you are given any point on any sphere, then if you don't have the altitude, it is better to convert it to an understandable file which GPS Visualizer can understand so that you'll be able to update the elevation with the help of GPS Visualizer. Then now we are done with the use of GPS Visualizer. What the next thing we're going to do now is I'm going to exploit into my file manager. Inside my file manager is where I have my downloaded file. Then for me now to get into my downloaded file, now I'll click on downloads. Then you can see the two recently downloaded files. Then I will prefer to use it on my desktop. It's not that I can't use it here, but I would prefer it to be on my desktop for easy accessibility. Then you can see now, I've already have the two files that recently converted to GPF file. Then the next step now is to launch my TZF converter. Then the purpose of using this TVS converter now is to convert the GPS file to an Excel file. Now what I'm going to do now is if it is only single file I'm loading, I will click on open. Since it is 2 in number, the next thing I'm going to do is I will click on the multiple GPS. Once I click on multiple GPS, and I'll click on add a file. When I add a file, I will search for the destination where I have the file. Then I can see now the first one is 7.9 kilobytes. I'll press open. I'll click add again for me to add the second file, which is 10.7 kilobytes. I'll press open again. Then you can now see now the first one and the second GPS files. Then now I can now press load now. Once I press load, automatically the thing will load into TZF software. As you can see. Then if you check previously on the part 1 of this tutorial, I tried to tell you the reason why we are not using TZF converter. One of the usages of TVS converter is to update altitude. For example, if you click on the track modify. But since I said I didn't know what happened really to TZF converter network. Since the beginning of this year, many users have been having problems on how to convert and or update altitude. Then now what I'm going to do now is I'll click on an export icon. Once I click on my export icon, I will now see save CSV file. The next thing I have to do is click on CSV file. Save CSV file. Then CSV file, then it will now ask me to name it. Then for me naming it is because it will automatically name it as imported file because it is a thing that we imported, but I don't want to use that name. However, the place we are doing his name is Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, but we will be using the acronym of the school, which is MAPOLY. Then MAPOLY, I will write MAPOLY now. MAPOLY, I will now save. Once I say save, it will now bring another dial where it will be prompting me to press yes or no, which no. Then once I press no, after pressing no, then if you check our desktop now where I saved the Excel file, I can now find the Excel file with which I name MAPOLY. Then one thing now, or the next thing now is for me to launch the file that I just converted from TZF software. It's loading and it's an Excel format. Our Excel file has finished loading. Then if you now see now, we can see all the details inside the MAPOLY from the extracted KML file of Google Earth. However, out of this, we only need 3 details. One is the latitude and the longitude and the altitude, which means that we don't really need the remainings. Then what we're not going to do now is we will click on the latitude, hold on our control key, select the longitude and the altitude at the same time. I will now press Ctrl C. Then once I press Ctrl C, I will now press Ctrl N to create another new page. Then after creating another new page, I can now press Ctrl V to paste what I copied from the primary source. Then from here now, I will now click on File. Once I click on File, then I will now select Save As. As I select Save As, then the next thing now is to select the destination I'm willing to save the file, which is on my desktop. I'll click on my desktop. Then I will now name it on my desktop. I will name it MAPOLY Relay. Then I'll now press. Then under the Save As tab, I'll click on it and I'll select CSV command delimited. If we are generating the topographic map, the only one format that's mostly soft understand is CSV command delimited. When I click on it, I will now press save. Once I click on save, automatically it will bring the Microsoft Excel will prompt another dialog whereby I'll press yes. Then I can now close the Excel file now. Close this. Then you should now see the second one which is Mapole Rally. The next thing now is to launch our software, but we will be stopping here. We'll now continue from software on the part 3 of this tutorial. Bye for now. I still remember myself. My name is Topograghic from GIS.